There's usually a moment, not a decision, but a moment, when you realize you've become an artist. When was yours?
I actually don't think of myself as an artist. I remember I felt the same way when I was doing clothes only. Somebody introduced me to somebody who wants a fashion designer, and I was like, I don't know, but probably it has something to do with self-esteem as well. I prefer to think, I don't know, something that resonates more with me is maker, just because I make things. For example, right now I'm working with plastic, and I'm making vases out of plastic bottles. I don't know, it just seems to make more sense to me. Artists, I don't know.
You studied landscape architecture in Kingston. What did that environment, not the curriculum, but the actual place, the people, the culture, do to how you see?
In England, I was more free in the faculty of design. And in the faculty of design, there was fashion, photography, illustration, furniture design, graphic design, and there were collaborative projects between all of us. And also at that time in London, this was the late 90s. London was very, there was a lot of, it was very active in terms of it was known as Cool Britannia at that time. Fashion was very active. I was always interested in fashion, and at that time Alexander McQueen was in his heyday, and I was crazy about his fashion. So in terms of how I saw things, it was an awakening for me.
When you came back to Trinidad and Tobago, what did home look like differently?
Yeah, it was dramatic because in our program, what I loved about it was that we looked at different landscape conditions. So we looked at an urban condition, we looked at a forestry condition, we looked at a coastal condition. So that is how I was looking at Trinidad now. So when I wasn't looking at Carrying Swamp, I was looking at a wetland. I was looking at, in Port of Spain, I was looking at an inner city, and so I saw the highway differently. I remember particularly in the highway, being very disturbed by the number of billboards, because in England you can't cover the highway with billboards because they're very conscious of the landscape, of the English landscape. And here you have all these horrible, ugly billboards. Like the highway is monetized, right? So you have all these ugly billboards cover anything, so the highway, the billboards cover like what could be beautiful views of the plains, of the Caribbean plains. Instead, you have all these horrible big billboards advertising, breeze and advertising, bleach and advertising all this nonsense. Just leave the landscape open and let us enjoy nature. Don't cover it with advertising. And then the other thing that I remember being conscious of was quarries, the rehabilitation of them, because then particularly like in Santa Cruz, seeing all these scars in the landscape, because we studied that in England as well, you know, and they just left, you know, it's like the landscape just like, you know, degraded and it's just left so, whereas there's a way to treat those big scars. You rehabilitate it, you know, so, you know, I did see things very differently.
Walk me through finding a piece of plastic on the beach. What happens between that moment and it becoming a part of a work?
Okay, so when I get back home, sometimes I wash it right away to get the sand off. Sometimes it won't, and it stays with the sand on it for months. But I keep all the stuff from the beach in together. Just because I think it's interesting to see over time how much stuff I've collected from the beach. And I don't use it right, so obviously I don't use it right away. And I don't have a purpose for it. I just let it, when I'm working on something, it'll become apparent, you know, if you know, which piece I have to use in that piece of work. Now, what I found with plastic is that it's very challenging for plastic to adhere to canvas. Over the years, I've gone through, you know, near to 10 different kinds of glue. You know, different kinds of for example, what's that kind of glue? Anyway, just many different kinds of glue. I found one that works now. I've also found a good way to get the plastic to adhere to stick onto the canvas is to use modeling paste. So you put the modeling paste on the canvas and you embed the plastic into it. So that's one. The other thing that I would do is to paint onto the canvas, onto the plastic. And the thing is that when you do that though, the paint can peel off the plastic. So then you would need to use something to seal the paint on the plastic. And that's it. That's the end of the process.
Your architectural training shows, but not in an obvious way. How do you experience the relationship between those two disciplines now?
Well, one of the things that was very strong in our program was the production of our drawings. So we produce all our drawings, all our drawings by hand. So I did this program in 1997 to 2000. So this was just at the beginning of CAD. But we actually were learning CAD, but CAD was actually optional. But I wasn't too interested in it. I really enjoyed doing my drawings by hand. And there's a lot of emphasis on doing very, very creative. As I said, we were in the faculty of design, so there's a lot of emphasis on doing very elaborate, very creative drawings, you know? And I loved that. Plan drawings, you know, interesting techniques and so on. So, and that is how I still do, and that translates right now into my creative process of doing art. I don't do paintings or so on an easel. I do all my work flat on a table as though I'm doing a plant drawing. And and actually when I'm doing my work, I think the language of doing a plan drawing, there's a certain vocabulary of the symbols, and a plan drawing is arranged in a certain way. There's an arrangement of a space, of a garden or public space. You have a focal point, you have peripheral areas, and I think I treat a painting like that, So that's a connection. So, but in some of my paintings, I think it depends on because when I paint in an abstract, pure expressionistic way, it can be different. So there are different ways that I can paint.
Painting on clothing is such an intimate act. You're entering something someone has already lived in. How does that change what you put on it?
It's a good question. When I moved to Canada, I lived in Canada for a while. I remember I went to a second-hand store for clothing. Somebody took me there, and I did not want to buy any second-hand clothing. I thought it was horrible. I said, I don't know where anybody else sold clothes. And since then I learned that I've become very, very environmentally conscious. I learned that there's enough clothing on the planet for the next six generations. And actually now I don't buy anything besides other people's clothes. I think it's very beautiful for an environmental reason. But this shirt that I'm wearing is my father's shirt. He gave me this shirt, but it was boring, so I painted on it. But I believe that you should, why go and use the planet's resources if there's already clothes to be worn? But I think that, to answer the question more directly, that makes things interesting. There are layers to things. I mean, it's just more layers to an item, to a piece of clothing. That's all. No big deal.
Is there a material, a particular kind of plastic, a particular fabric that you keep returning to? What is it about that thing?
Yeah, well, in terms of plastics, there are two kinds of plastic that I keep returning to. Plastic bottles, because it's such a problem. Somebody was telling me that in France, in the groceries, there is a whole aisle of filled with plastic bottles of water. I couldn't believe that. They told me that, a couple of weeks ago. This is 2026, and it's such a known problem that plastic's such a huge problem. Plastic bottles. And the world is drowning in plastic, and I actually, when they told me that, I couldn't believe that, because there's so much plastic. I really couldn't believe that. I was shocked when they told me that. So because it's such a big problem, plastic bottles, I keep returning to using them. I love to use them to find things to do with them. The second thing second kind of plastic that I like to use is dental flossers, because I know that it will shock people. People will think, that's somebody's flosser and they'll get freaked out by it. Well, good. I want to use it and freak you out.
What are the greatest influences on your artwork today? Do they compete with each other, or do they converge somewhere in the work?
I'd say a big influence. Yeah, one of the biggest influences on my life in everything is being 52. It drives me to do everything, because I realize time is limited. Two people that I grew up with, that I went to high school with, my ride or die friends, very good friends. Died. One died about a year ago. The other died a couple of years ago. And one of them, he was the one who had a car. We used to play tennis all the time. And the other one had a pretty successful life in the States, and he went to the States. He told everybody because of me, because I went to the States, and he didn't know anything about that, and he did SAT because I did SAT, and then he went to the States and he had a successful life. And at any minute, I'm 52, at any minute, so I have things to do. That pushes me to do what I have to do. And then the other influence is to find out all that I can do in my art, because I know that there are things that I want to do. And another is because of the happiness that it brings me. That's a big influence. I just want more happiness. Another influence is certain people, other artists, like Jason Hospitalis, who inspires me greatly for his passion for art. He has a real love of it. He doesn't do another job because he loves his art. He's a great person. He has great skill in his art, and that inspires me. Another friend, Rosemond, started art very late in life. I think she was 68, and she has a passion for art. She wants to try every new skill and technique, and she paints almost every day. And I'm like, where did this woman find her passion? I wish I had that passion. She has a go for it attitude that is admirable. And then people like Kendrick Lamar and Sinead O'Connor and Madonna, who live their truth and do their own thing. I find that very admirable.
Tell me about a piece that didn't work, not just technically, one where the idea itself broke down.
What comes to mind is about 3 years ago. I said I was going to go so big in terms of the size of the canvas I was going to work on. So I got a canvas 4 feet by 3 feet. Actually, I got 2 of them. And it was expensive. I think it was $900 for one of them. And up to this is 3 years ago, up to this day. And it was a big investment, obviously. Up to this day, the canvas is not finished. And up to this day, I don't know how to finish it. Because it is, for me, intimidating, it's daunting, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's fine. I don't know, the word is intimidating. I think we are getting closer to because it's dealing with it's part of a body of work that I want to tie up. It's been going on for a while, and I want to pull it together. You know. So I think it's time to execute an idea I have for it. But yeah, that comes to mind, you know, in terms of something that I set out to do, but you know, at the time, I imagine I would have thought that it would have finished. You know, I assumed that it would have finished in a month, and it's 3 years later and it's not finished.
The environmental dimension of your work is political, whether you frame it that way or not. Are you comfortable with that? Do you lean into it?
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. I have no problem with it being an issue that is contentious. I grew up in an environment where politics was discussed easily, you know, socially among friends. People were discussing politics. Good friends were discussing politics, arguing, you know, expressing freely their feelings about contentious issues from abortion, death penalty, prostitution, gay rights, you know, employment, race, you know, everything, and freely expressing their feelings and getting very heated, quarreling. And they, you know, if we were at the beach, the following morning they wake up and they're good. But I've seen where friendships have ended. But I've also seen where good friends remained good friends, even though the previous night they quarreled. So yeah, you express how you feel.
Is there advice you received early on about art, about being an artist in the Caribbean, that turned out to be completely wrong?
Yeah, I remember somebody told me once because a particular painting of mine was popular, to go and make more of it, because it'll be financially good. I knew that it was a bad idea. I always knew, yeah, and I'm so happy I didn't do that, because it would have been the beginning of the end of me, because the money would have been good, and that would have driven me to chase money and kill my creative spirit, and that would have been the end of me. And that was like terrible advice. I'm very happy I didn't take it.
You mentioned that you returned to your art practice later in life. Can you tell us a bit about your earliest experiences with art and how they differ from your current process?
I'm the youngest of 5 children. My eldest sister is 16 years older than I am. She is an artist, and she was so when she was painting at home, I was around her, and that was my first exposure to art, and it's her fault that I love art so much. I've always been interested in art. I think it's really important to do what's in your heart. You know, I was afraid to do what was in my heart. You know, I always remember growing up, and the Bomb newspaper was popular, and the Mirror newspaper was popular, and I remember reading articles about, you know, there were these scandalous articles about Buller men, and I just, you know, it was the worst thing, and I knew I couldn't, I knew that to be an artist meant, a male artist meant that you were a Buller man, and I refused to be a Buller man. So I did not pursue my love of art. I mean, that was that was a huge reason, and I'm very happy that I don't care now, and that I you know, it is hard being an artist financially, but the joy I get is from following my heart is irreplaceable, and I think it's very important for people to do that. In high school, I did art at O levels, and so I did it in Form 4, and that was in 1989. And there was no, I don't believe there were any color photocopiers in Trinidad at that time, but my eldest sister, who's an artist, was to take a photocopy of my exam piece, and I'm happy I did. So I took a black and white photocopy of it, which is this. And then also she told me to frame it, and I'm very happy I did. I have it. And you know, at the time I was interested in Van Gogh. So I was inspired by him. So it's a black and white photocopy of my very colorful piece. So I'm happy I have that. It's life-size piece of it. I remember as well that it's not finished. I never got, because I'm such a perfectionist. At the back, there was supposed to be forestry and plants and trees, and, you know, as you could tell, if it's in Trinidad, and, you know, you see in the back, looks like a desert. There's no plants. But at the back, but I wanted it to be perfect, so I never ran out of time making it. But anyway, I'm very, very happy that I have it, and that I framed it, and, you know, prized possession of mine. So this is a more recent piece. I did this in 2021. It was done when I went through a very difficult time. This is, now the thing is with this, so I did this for O levels. It was not CXC, Cambridge O levels. So in it I was showing perspective and color theory and so on. Now, this is more the style that I work in now, which is abstract expressionism. Now, I did this at a time when it was a very difficult time, and I just had all these emotions going on. And I placed the canvas on the table, like as I was explaining before, and I just had to let everything out. And so there was no conscious thinking about perspective and theory and what was right and what was wrong. I just had to let go, and I did that. And I find that kind of way of working is very, to me, I call it true. So I'm talking about for me, because it comes from deep inside me. I don't let the thoughts get in the way. I just totally let sort of like go on autopilot. And so a friend of mine was asking, is it that you sort of like go into a trance and then do something and then you come out of it? So I said, you know what, that's a very good way of describing it. And he actually is a psychologist, and he described it like that. And I said, you know what, that is a very good way of describing it, because I don't be thinking, and that's cool. And it's very interesting because other artists who work in what is called representational work, and I am, which is like work like this, which is representing a particular scene, say that they cannot paint like this. And I would say in the same vein, I right now cannot create a scene of, for example, a house like this and do that well. I would actually have to take about a year or something of learning technique and so on again. So, it's interesting. All kinds of ways of expressing yourself and technique are very, very interesting and very particular. Somebody told me my mind works differently, and their mind works differently. And all of them are right. There's no right and wrong way of expressing yourself. It's all individual and all interesting and all beautiful and all individual. It's all very, very interesting.
What did you think the residency would be, and what has it actually been?
Yeah, I don't remember what I thought it would be. What I do remember is I thought it would be, I remember thinking it was fat. Just being in a residency, I think one of the things that stood out that really surprised me is the sense of camaraderie amongst the resident artists and the coordinators, which really surprised me. I hadn't experienced that. I'm quite a loner. I've always been, and it's been really nice to work with other people and develop, to be put in a space where, we had sessions where we would get together and be open and have meditations and yoga sessions, and that really shocked me, and be vulnerable and spend time with each other. That was nice. And then working with our coordinator, our president, Citrine has been amazing. He is quite incredible, a great person, kind, generous, understanding, armed with very good business knowledge, help and skills, and willing to help, and patient. It's quite lovely. So it's been very interesting. I thought that the other thing that I learned from it is to be patient, because I wanted something about me is that I want everything day before yesterday, and I've been involved in the program now, I think over 2 years, and it's taught me not to give up, to be patient, to look at long term, and not to rush. That song during the lockdown pandemic, don't rush. It's okay. To take your time. So yeah.
Lime Life exists at this intersection of lifestyle and artistic practice. Has being in this space changed how you think about the audience for your work?
Even though I try to remain true to global values and true to myself, even when I work in Trinidad, and it's different, even within Trinidad, even when you're working in San Fernando, it's different from if you're working in Port of Spain. But I still try to remain true to my values, which or to global values, which probably isn't the smartest thing. It might be better to pay attention to your market. To answer the question, being aware of working with a magazine that is global does have an impact. It has freed me up.
Being a resident artist means people follow your process, not just your finished work. How has that visibility felt?
And that hasn't happened yet as part of the program, but I like it too. I like people looking at the process. I don't, with social media, can be, I see some art accounts on Instagram, and every night there's a new piece of art, and I'm like, how do these people make art so quickly? That is not possible. It's nice. Yeah, art is meant to be, it's nice that's a wrong way to, it's one of the problems with social media and its impact on art. Seeing the process of art is interesting. It's slow, And that's how our art is. That's how life is. You know, we aren't art is a process. You don't make art quick art is not necessarily bad art, but it can make, I think it's forcing people to make quick art. I think it can make unhealthy people. Social media can make unhealthy people. So you know, it's an interesting thing, you know. So
since 2016, how has your relationship to the act of making changed? Not the subject matter, but the experience of being in the studio.
Yeah, in 2016, I was painting on t-shirts, and so at that time I was painting on t-shirts only, and so it was very different from the work that I do now, where I paint on canvases mainly. The first thing that came to mind was that sometimes, at that time, when I painted on t-shirts, sometimes those t-shirts were so elaborate. I could spend days on a t-shirt. Sometimes when I paint on a canvas, I spend hours on a canvas. Particularly when the way that I paint is in a very impulsive, fast way. It could be hours. But at that time, a t-shirt could be a very elaborate design. So that's the first thing that comes to mind in terms of the difference between the experiences between 2016 and now, 10 years ago. I would say that's a big experience. My way of painting now is on canvas is faster. However, even within that, I've painted on canvases sometimes with solutions of water, and have to wait for weeks for the solutions to evaporate. So it varies. You know, sometimes a painting on canvas has taken weeks to dry because it's a solution that's taken that long. So it's varied.
If you were starting over, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing, because I think you have to go through what you have to go through, and I learned some things in life that I know I would never have learned if I didn't go through what I've been through. I think that there is one thing I would change, which is to worry less. Yeah, I would change that. Well, I don't know. Does that make sense? Because it contradicts what I just said. Because then I wouldn't reach at this point where I know not to worry. Yeah, but worrying is a big fucking waste of time.
What do you want to be doing next that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Well, I don't know if I want to do it next, but something that I always wanted to do is to, well, not always wanted to do, but something that I, wanted to do for a good while. So show my work on, publicly on buildings, or on a light show, buildings, bridge, or quarry, rocks or something. But I think buildings.
yeah, but I don't think next. There are other things I want to do next.
You live and work in Trinidad and Tobago. What does it mean to make art about sustainability in a place that the world rarely thinks of as the source of that conversation?
I mean, two things. It's incredibly frustrating because, as I said before, I like things the day before yesterday, immediately, and if I see something as being obvious, I think everybody should see it as obvious. And I realize, well, many people just on the same boat, I would say most people think it's life as normal, carry on, go to work, make lots of money. So frustrating is one, but therefore challenging. I mean, I have to find a way around it. I'm not the kind of person who could just ignore it, turn a blind eye, right, and just do something else. So it's just challenging, and I just have to find a way around it. And so it's a challenge, and a joy, when I find ways around it. The third side is rewarding when I find a community and of people who I realize are in the same boat. That is a good thing, and you realize you are doing the right thing, and it's personally fulfilling to know that you are doing what you know is right.
There's usually a moment, not a decision, but a moment, when you realize you've become an artist. When was yours?
I actually don't think of myself as an artist. I remember I felt the same way when I was doing clothes only. Somebody introduced me to somebody who wants a fashion designer, and I was like, I don't know, but probably it has something to do with self-esteem as well. I prefer to think, I don't know, something that resonates more with me is maker, just because I make things. For example, right now I'm working with plastic, and I'm making vases out of plastic bottles. I don't know, it just seems to make more sense to me. Artists, I don't know.
You studied landscape architecture in Kingston. What did that environment, not the curriculum, but the actual place, the people, the culture, do to how you see?
In England, I was more free in the Faculty of Design. And in the Faculty of Design, there was fashion, photography, illustration, furniture design, graphic design, and there were collaborative projects between all of us. And also at that time in London, this was the late 90s. London was very, there was a lot of, it was very active in terms of it was known as Cool Britannia at that time. Fashion was very active. I was always interested in fashion, and at that time Alexander McQueen was in his heyday, and I was crazy about his fashion. So in terms of how I saw things, it was an awakening for me.
When you came back to Trinidad and Tobago, what did home look like differently?
Yeah, it was dramatic because in our program, what I loved about it was that we looked at different landscape conditions. So we looked at an urban condition, we looked at a forestry condition, we looked at a coastal condition. So that is how I was looking at Trinidad now. So when I wasn't looking at carrying swamp, I was looking at a wetland. I was looking at, in Port of Spain, I was looking at an inner city, and so I saw the highway differently. I remember particularly in the highway, being very disturbed by the number of billboards, because in England you can't cover the highway with billboards because they're very conscious of the landscape, of the English landscape. And here you have all these horrible, ugly billboards. Like the highway is monetized, right? So you have all these ugly billboards cover anything, so the highway, the billboards cover like what could be beautiful views of the plains, of the Caribbean plains. Instead, you have all these horrible big billboards advertising, breeze and advertising, bleach and advertising all this nonsense. Just leave the landscape open and let us enjoy nature. Don't cover it with advertising. And then the other thing that I remember being conscious of was quarries, the rehabilitation of them, because then particularly like in Santa Cruz, seeing all these scars in the landscape, because we studied that in England as well, and they just left, it's like the landscape was like, degraded and it's just left. So whereas there's a way to treat those big scars, you rehabilitate it, So, I did see things very differently.
Walk me through finding a piece of plastic on the beach. What happens between that moment and it becoming a part of a week?
Okay, so when I get back home, sometimes I wash it right away to get the sand off. Sometimes it won't, and it stays with the sand on it for months. But I keep all the stuff from the beach in together, just because I think it's interesting to see over time how much stuff I've collected from the beach. And I don't use it right, so obviously I don't use it right away, and I don't have a purpose for it. I just let it, when I'm working on something, it'll become apparent, you know, if you know which piece I have to use in that piece of work. Now, what I found with plastic is that it's very challenging for plastic to adhere to canvas. Over the years, I've gone through, you know, 8 to 10 different kinds of glue. You know, different kinds of for example, what's that kind of glue? Anyway, just many different kinds of glue. I found one that works now. I've also found a good way to get the plastic to adhere to stick onto the canvas is to use modeling paste. So you put the modeling paste on the canvas and you embed the plastic into it. So that's one. The other thing that I would do is to paint onto the canvas, onto the plastic. And the thing is that when you do that though, the paint can peel off the plastic. So then you need to use something to seal the paint on the plastic. And that's it. That's the end of the process.
Your architectural training shows, but not in an obvious way. How do you experience the relationship between those two disciplines now?
Well, one of the things that was very strong in our program was the production of our drawings. So we produce all our drawings, all our drawings by hand. So I did this program in 1997.